From a national level, the Code of Federal Regulations defines what significantly means, and this is particularly related to the National Environmental Policy Act, NEPA, and the focus is on context and intensity. So those are the two characteristics that we're going to look at for talking about whether or not impacts from a project are significant. So starting with context, impact should be considered in the context of society, the impacted region, or a local area, and looking at both long-term and short-term effects. When we look at intensity, this refers to the severity of that impact, and the impacts can be both beneficial and adverse. They can affect public health and safety. You should be looking at unique characteristics of the geographic area, which can include historic or cultural resources, parklands, farmlands, wetlands, rivers, and ecologically critical areas. Some of the locations may have controversy related to the quality of the human environment. There may be uncertain or unique and unknown risks. So lots of things to look at and consider when we're thinking about whether or not impacts are significant, their context, and the intensity. And so as an example, one that I've seen that I like to think about and consider is if you're looking at two wetlands and there's a 1 acre impact in each of these wetlands, those intensities are the same. So the same intensity, 1 acre in each of these two wetlands. But if one wetland is 2 acres and the other wetland is 1,000 acres, that context is different. One, you're looking at essentially disturbing half of the wetland, and then one you're looking at 0.1% of that wetland. Now it doesn't mean that necessarily it would not be significant, but those contexts differ substantially where the intensity is the same. So when we think about and when we look at these federal documents, the documents prepared to fulfill these federal requirements for NEPA, we need to think about context and intensity and whether or not there are significant impacts.